Pam Bondi is finally dropping the hammer on all this Trump-Russia collusion garbage by opening an investigation over the Department of Justice. And of course, this is all based off of the declassified intel that's been released by Tulsi Gabbard. However, of course, now that this is all coming to light, you have the Democrats kind of changing their tune and running for cover. But what we're going to see today, of course, is Scott Jennings calling this garbage out over on CNN. So before we get to these clips, don't forget to like and comment on this video so we can get through the algorithms. Here we go.
Attorney General Pam Bondi has directed federal prosecutors to launch a grand jury investigation into accusations that Obama officials manufactured intelligence about Russia's 2016 election interference. A grand jury could issue subpoenas or even pursue a potential indictment as part of a criminal investigation into allegations that Democratic officials tried to smear Donald Trump during his 2016 campaign by falsely alleging his campaign was colluding with the Russian government. Now, this follows a recent move from Trump's Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. She declassified documents that she alleged undermine the Obama administration's conclusion that Russia tried to help Trump defeat Hillary Clinton. Van, I want to start with you. Your reaction to the move here by the Attorney General to move forward with a grand jury investigation.
Stunning, terrifying, and a waste of time. Look, I was in the Obama administration. The administration ahead of us was George W. Bush's administration. There's a lot of stuff that they did that we didn't like or we would have done differently or we thought was awful. But we never tried to criminally prosecute anybody. And so this doesn't make a lot of sense. What is the crime here? Apparently, they don't like that Russia was trying to mess with our elections. But the Obama administration didn't say that they successfully did it, didn't say that Trump participated in it. They just said the truth, which a bipartisan Senate panel also said, which is the Russians tried to mess with our election. Now, Donald Trump has just not been able to let this go. He feels badly about it. But just because you feel badly about something or you don't like something the last administration did, doesn't mean somebody should go to prison. And if that happens, that's a completely different world that we're living in. But we can't even figure out what is a criminal charge supposed to be here.
Yeah, I would note, and it was a long time ago, and we're all getting older, except for Scott, of course. I believe the Obama administration and Attorney General Eric Holder took a lot of heat for not pursuing criminal cases against people involved in allegations of torture when they came in from the Bush administration. Scott, what's your take on what we've seen transpire in the last couple hours?
Well, I think we're downplaying what's been found. And, you know, with respect to my sparring partner here, Van, half the country and one entire political party has an article of faith that Russia stole the 2016 election. Now, how did they come to that conclusion? They came to that conclusion because high-ranking Democrats, many of whom had intelligence titles that were bestowed upon them in the Obama administration, spent a lot of time and effort making an entire political party believe that. If you went to a Democratic fundraising dinner or political dinner tonight and got asked the question, did Russia steal the election? And you said no, you'd be booed off the stage. And so I think you're downplaying what has actually happened here. One party and half the country believes an election was stolen, and that did not happen by accident. There's evidence here. A grand jury looking at it. If it's as clean and mundane as you say, then these people ought to have nothing to worry about. But why shouldn't we look into it? The people who complain about misinformation and disinformation all the time, why does half the country believe something that didn't happen?
Well, half the country believes a lot of dumb stuff, including a lot of dumb stuff that comes from Republicans, but nobody's trying to put anybody in prison over it. Listen, we live in a.
They tried to put Donald Trump in jail, Van.
Hold on a second. They tried to put Donald Trump in jail over stuff that he actually he got indicted for, but the country went ahead and reelected him anyway. Look, my point is this. It is, in fact, the case. People believe a lot of wacky stuff and nutty stuff in my party and in your party. That is very different from the Department of Justice saying they're going to put somebody in prison over it. That's a different world. We've not been in a world before. Listen, you served in the White House. I served in the White House. The idea you're going to somehow now go to jail because people misinterpreted what you did in there, I think this is very, very scary stuff, man.
Scott?
Look, I mean, we're obviously going to see this differently, and you and I have agreed about many things regarding the last few years. But on this, my view is that it has become obvious that what happened as Donald Trump was coming in and Barack Obama was going out bears some amount of investigation. And again, if you're right, all these people, they should have nothing to worry about. But there's a lot of people out there that have looked at this and decided that, intelligence was changed and ignored, and there were career people in the intelligence services saying we can't use the Steele dossier and so on and so forth. So where, at some point, people are just asking, how do you get accountability? Why does half the country believe Russia stole an election? Where is the accountability for that? Did people abuse their positions? Did they perjure themselves? Did they willfully mislead the American people? How do you get accountability for it? That's the question here.
Scott, can I ask you, is this, in your eyes, this would be the final judgment on that? It wasn't the Durham report. It wasn't the Senate Intelligence Committee run by Marco Rubio report. It wasn't the House and Senate efforts in the last 6-7 years to look into this. This is the final one. After this, you'll believe whatever it is?
Well, I would think so. Typically, an investigation like this from the justice system would be the end of the line. You'll find out whether anybody did commit criminal acts or not. And again, I don't know whether they did or they didn't. And so if Van is right and everything was above board and this was all just mundane policy differences, then I don't know why anybody would be worried about having their actions scrutinized. It seems to me that a hit dog hollers. And right now, the hit dogs are hollering.
Van Jones must have some serious political amnesia, because apparently right now he doesn't remember what the Democrats were trying to do to Donald Trump prior to 2024. All right. He was under federal investigation for trying to steal the 2020 election. All right. They were trying to throw Donald Trump in jail over things that he never did. He's on video saying, hey, people, go out and peacefully and patriotically protest, make your voices heard, because there's a whole bunch of shenanigans going on during that 2020 election. OK, but the Democrats, they didn't want to let it go. They were out for blood. But according to Van Jones, what's happening right now in this investigation into the Obamas and the Clintons, etc., this is just stunning and terrifying and a complete waste of time. And apparently Van Jones says, what's the actual crime here? What actually happened? Well, let me give you the rundown about what supposedly has been found in these unclassified documents from Tulsi Gabbard. All right. Hillary Clinton, in an effort to distract from her own email server problem she was having, okayed a plan to connect Donald Trump with Putin. Right. There's the Russia collusion. Now, this plan would be fostered by her own surrogates and helped with fire being thrown on the flames by the FBI. Now, all of this stuff, of course, was looked at by the intelligence agencies and found to be discredited. OK, but then, of course, it was brought before Obama, and Obama said, you know what, we're going to ignore the stuff that says this is all discreditable information, and we're going to run with that narrative that Trump colluded with Russia in order to win the 2016 election. And all of that stuff, of course, became the Steele dossier, and that became the basis of the Trump-Russia hoax. That was the keystone to the entire scheme. And of course, it was all orchestrated by Donald Trump's primary opponent in the 2016 election. Does that not sound worth investigating, Van Jones? Does that not sound a little bit terrifying to you now, Van Jones? And we know it was effective because Scott Jennings actually brings up a great point. Why does almost the entirety of the Democrat Party believe there was Trump-Russia collusion? Why does the entirety of the Democrat Party think that Donald Trump is a stooge for Putin? Why does the entire Democrat Party believe that stuff is true? And it all stems from this. What's being investigated right now? And Scott Jennings, of course, was right to call it out. Did you forget Donald Trump was being investigated? Did you forget the ramifications of that investigation on Donald Trump? And as Scott Jennings also mentions, the dogs are howling now that it's being looked into. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and say hi to your mom for me. Do you like t-shirts? Of course you do. And now you can support the channel by buying an Angry Teacher t-shirt designed by me, Angry Teacher. So if you like America, if you like freedom, if you like liberty, then go ahead and click the link in the description, where all designs, of course, are 100% mother approved. So enjoy yourself and find something you like today.